Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by. Well, you know something? I guess they are standing by, but our...
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Our friend isn't. Yes, I am doing it. Just remember, when you call that number, it comes directly to me first. If you have any questions, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course... we are celebrating today. We are celebrating National Bubble Tea Day. And get out the boba straws and grab your friends because April 30th is National Bubble Tea Day, celebrating by indulging in the best that bubble tea has to offer, from creamy milk tea to refreshing green tea, fruity slushies, all customizable with different toppings, sugar level and ice level. Probably not something that I want to be getting involved with when we're talking about when I'm talking about my diet. I don't know if I want to talk about my diet, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm still working on it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, if you are looking into it, I'm 54 pounds now and counting, still working on it. rsrlinks.com/shot if you want to get involved in it. rsrlinks.com/shot. I'll talk about that in a minute as well. What else do we have to celebrate today? Bugs Bunny Day. I like that. That's a sick looking Bugs Bunny. That doesn't even, well, who's the guy that played Bugs Bunny? I don't remember the guy's name. I know that he passed away recently. Pretty a famous voice. That's all, folks. No, you're not getting rid of us that quickly. Today's also, let's see, National Raisin Day. Hey, Josh, can we distill those and get rid of the skin and make it into a little Zinfandel? I think I'd rather have it that way. I don't mind raisins, but I like to get them when they're a little dried out. I digress. Okay. Let's move right along. Military Brats Day. Okay. We appreciate our military. But this would be the kids of the military, men and women. Our lending team. Just last year, we got honored 500 families that with Homes for Heroes, the team did. And Josh, I don't know about all these different days that we celebrate. They've been great for us since I started doing this show in 2010. But as I try to lose a little weight, today's National Oatmeal Cookie Day. I can't indulge in all of these. Well, I guess I could. It wouldn't, that's a whole different story. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. And it's been a volatile day because there's so much data that's been coming out. And, it's you got to watch the data directly. You can't go on to some of the social channels. You can't go on to the mainstream media because Fox News, I used to watch Fox News quite a bit. And right now, why don't they just change the name to the Trump Network? Because you can't ever turn it on without getting some presidential event. I don't care. I'm tired of it. Is there anything else going on in the world right now than Trump all the time? Dow Jones is down 217 points. The S&P's down 50. The NASDAQ's down 227. Oil, $58.12 a barrel, down $2.30 per barrel of oil right now. Is it affecting our gas prices? Well, in the formerly Golden State, we're still probably leading the country. We like high gas prices. We keep voting for the same people. Hey, Josh, if you're bored tonight, there's well, you got kids, you never get bored, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll keep you busy. But Kamala Harris doing a speech, $250 in person. I think it wasn't it about a year ago that it was $250,000 to go see her in person? And for those of you that want to watch it streaming, I'm not sure why you would. $25 to watch it streaming. I think I could find something better to do with $25. That might get me a quarter of a tank of gas because we're at $4.78 a gallon here in California. A month ago, it was $4.79 a gallon. It's down just a little bit. A year ago, $5.39 a gallon. Over there, I am envious because I look at when I look at our gas prices here in California at $4.78, and then I talk to Josh each morning, and we're at what, $3.40 over there in Nevada. $3.40, and we're at $4.80, $4.78. Maybe I'll have to go to Vegas. It might cost me more because I don't have as much of a problem at the crap table in Orange County because we don't have any. Although Kentucky Derby this weekend, you're gonna get dressed up. I'm not much for dressing up, but I did ask my wife to go, and I don't know, Josh. Again, I need your help on this. So, those, when we were kids, we had those little horses. There was a horse head on a stick and you used to run around with it. Do they still have those? I'm like, maybe that's what I'll get for for Kentucky Derby instead, because obviously I don't look like a jockey. No one's going to confuse me for being a jockey. Probably a little too tall. Well, probably weigh a little bit too much too, but we're not going to, again, I'll say.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there too much either. But, I want to throw something out there because the media is not going to tell you this. You won't hear it anywhere else. But I'm looking right now, and if I were to look, and I am looking, at a 30-day chart of the 10-year Treasury, and I watch the 10-year Treasury because that's indirectly a good guide for what's going on in housing and mortgage rates. The 10-year Treasury, April 1st, the day before the tariffs were announced, the 10-year Treasury was at 4.163. If we look at the 10-year Treasury right now as I'm speaking, and I've got a live ticker on my computer, it's at 4.179. Basically no change at all in the 10-year Treasury. And then I went and looked and said, okay, with all the turmoil that we hear about, and we hear crying Chuck, New York senator, and the minority leader of the House, Charles Schumer, talking about how catastrophic the Trump administration is. If I look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, same time period. Now, I can't use today's real-time ticker because it moves too quick for me, but I'm looking at this one, as of the April 1st, 42,225 was the Dow is what it closed at. Yesterday it closed at 40,527, down 4.2%. Not a big deal, especially when you see the border. Well, you've got that down. The illegal immigration is down 99.9%. 99.9% is what's down on the border as far as illegal immigration. So has it been a catastrophic first 100 days? That's up to you to decide. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, a tale of two housing markets. Get ahead before the rush. Improve your credit now before rates drop. Marriage and money. 10 tips to keep love from losing to liabilities. And you don't need 20% down. Here's what most buyers are actually doing. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, get it. It's free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. What did rates do yesterday? It's a clean sweep, and I like this one. All red arrows. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.703. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.898. FHA 30-year fix, 6.384. VA 30-year fix, 6.244. USDA 30-year fixed, 6.388. And if you want our market thoughts each and every business day morning as early as the data allows, there's a lot of data out this morning, but you can get that. Just register or sign up for our free report, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. Let's see what the markets are doing right now as we speak. Well, the S&P 500 is down 52.7. We're looking at the 10-year treasury is up 2 basis points. Doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. And the mortgage bond is down 8 basis points. Again, that one doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. But all that stuff is available on the super secret website, google.com. But what's not there is the why of why all of these things are happening. Well, it's all data driven. And we can actually see what's driving the markets. How do we know what's driving markets? And no one really ever talks about this, but when you have a real-time ticker on your screen, like I do, and then you've got a economic calendar on your screen that updates in real time, like I do, and you've got the real-time pricing on the screen, well, what happens is when you look at the charts, and you see, okay, what happened on the charts at 5:15 a.m.? And I can look at that and I say, okay, if I look at a one-day chart of the 10-year treasury at 5:15 a.m., yes, I have no life, and I know that, but I can see that the 10-year treasury was at 4.14. About 5 minutes later, it was 4.136. So that means that whatever happened at that time didn't really drive the market too much. What happened at that time? It was the ADP jobs report, and it came in significantly lower than what the expectations were, and way down from last month. So I know it didn't have a whole lot of effect, and that's how you kind of tell what's affecting the market. So let's take a look at the numbers. PCE, the personal consumption expenditure report. Personal spending rose 0.7%, higher than the 0.5 expected. Adding to the beat was a 1/10 upward revision to February, bringing up that reading from 0.4 to 0.5. Income rose 0.5%, which was stronger than the 0.4% expected, but there was a 0.1% negative revision to the previous month, which tempers this reading. The Fed's favorite measure of inflation, PCE, showed that headline inflation was flat in March and decreased to 2.3% from 2.7% year over year, which was higher than expectations of 2.2%. Core rate strips out food and energy for those that don't need to eat and don't have a usage of energy. Fed's main focus was also flat, with year over year core inflation falling from an upwardly revised 3% to 2.6%. The market was expecting a 0.1% monthly reading and 2.6% year over year. A trend of core inflation is improving. The year over year 12-month rate is 2.6%, but the 6-month rate increased from 2.9 to 2.9, decreased to 2.9 from 3.4, and the 3-month run rate is 3.5 from 3.2. Shelter is still one of the biggest contributors to inflation at a monthly reading of 0.39%, which is the one negative spot within the report. It's continuing to be sticky at 4.3% year over year, which is higher than real-time readings of 3.5%, according to Zillow. So that's that report that tells us what's going on there. And then we got the GDP report. First reading on Q1 GDP was reported at negative 0.3%, which is the first negative reading since the first quarter of 2022, and is going to raise concerns over a recession. Remember, up until the Biden administration, the report, the typical was two consecutive quarters of negative GDP equal to recession. For some reason, when that happened during the Biden administration, they didn't call that a recession. You make the decision. While growth was negative, the inflation components on a quarterly basis were higher than expected, which pressured bonds a bit. Headline PCE rose 3.7% versus the forecast of 3.1%, and the core PCE was up 3.5%, also hotter than estimates. Remember, this is for the first quarter and is somewhat old as it is a quarterly reading. The more recent March monthly PCE reading was also released this morning and showed a nice improvement and should hold more weight. Personal spending was stronger than expected, rising by 1.8% versus the estimate of 1.2%. Also helping was a rise in inventories that added 2.25% to GDP growth, but that was pull forward inventory building ahead of the tariffs. And what is behind it? Likely more weaknesses as they let that inventory deplete while we wait to see what's going to happen with tariffs. Well, we'll see what happens there. The main drag was the spike in imports, which took away 4.83% from GDP. ADP employment report showed that there were only 62,000 jobs created during the month, which was much weaker than the 120,000 expected. Additionally, the previous reading for March was revised lower by 8,000 to 147,000. While job gains were pretty weak in the businesses of all sizes, large businesses with more than 500 employees only added 12,000 jobs, which is very weak. Many service-providing sectors saw job losses, including information, professional business services, education, health services. Leisure and hospitality saw 27,000 job gains. That is likely to be impacted in future reports as tourism has slowed significantly. Additionally, trade saw job gains, but with tariffs, it's hard to imagine those not turning negative in upcoming reports. Looking at wages, job stayers, or those who remained at their jobs, had their pay increase at 4.5% on an annual basis, which is a drop from 4.6% in the previous report. lowest levels since June 2021. Job changes, those finding a new job getting poached by competition, saw an increase of 6.9%, which is up from 6.7% in the previous report. ADP explained that the cause for the weak report, unease is the word of the day. Employers are trying to reconcile policy and consumer uncertainty with a run of mostly positive economic data. It can be difficult to make hiring decisions in such an environment. Clearly, the labor market is showing signs of weakness and the economy is slowing, especially with the tariff uncertainty and demand destruction as a result. Pending home sales, which measures signed contracts on existing homes, rose 6.1% in March, much stronger than estimates of 1%. Sales are now down 0.6% year over year, which is an improvement from negative 3.6% in the previous report. That's the Mortgage Minute today, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Huge amount of data right there on that Mortgage Minute report. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, a tale of two housing markets. Marriage and money, 10 tips to keep love from losing the liabilities. You don't need 20% down. And get ahead before the rush. Improve your credit now before rates drop. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com, a tale of two housing markets. For a long time, the housing market was all sunshine for sellers. Homes were flying off the shelves, and buyers had to compete like crazy. But lately, things are starting to shift. Some areas are still super competitive for buyers, while others are seeing more homes sit on the market, giving buyers a bit more breathing room. In other words, it's a tale of two markets. Knowing which one you're in makes a huge difference when you move. It also makes a huge difference when you're looking to sell. Get the free report. It doesn't cost you a thing. That's why we say it's a free report. rsrlinks.com/market report. rsrlinks.com/market report. Get that one for free. That way you know what it's like in your zip code or the zip code you're moving to. In other words, the tale of two markets, knowing which one you're in makes a huge difference when you buy a home. What is a buyer's market versus a seller's market? In a buyer's market, there are a lot of homes for sale and not as many people buying. With fewer buyers competing for these homes, that means they generally sit on the market longer. They might not sell for as much as they would in a seller's market, and buyers have more room to negotiate. On the flip side, in a seller's market, there aren't enough homes for sale for the number of buyers who are trying to purchase them. Homes sell faster. Sellers often get multiple offers, and prices shoot higher because buyers are willing to pay more to win the home. The market is starting to balance out. For years, almost every market in the country was a strong seller's market. That made it tough for buyers, especially first-timers. But now things are shifting. According to Zillow, the national housing market is balancing out. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 FM 98.1 video feeds, you're seeing a chart of the housing market. It is balancing out. If you're watching a chart, the gray color is a neutral market. Basically, the buyers and the sellers are pretty matched. The yellow goldish color is a seller's market, and the orange is a strong seller's market. We haven't had a buyer's market in a while. The index used in this graph measures whether the national housing market is more of a seller's market, buyer's market, or neutral market. Basically, whether it favors buyers, sellers, or if it's not really swinging either way. Each month, the market is measured between 0 and 100. The closer to 100, the bigger the advantage sellers have. The orange bars in the middle of the graph show the years when sellers had their strongest advantage, 2020 to early 2022. But as time has gone by, the market has become more balanced. It's shifted from a strong seller's market to a less intense one, and lately, it's been neutral more than anything else. That's the gray bars on the right side of the graph. That means buyers are gaining some negotiating power. Again, if you go to our market report that I just told you about, rsrlinks.com/market report, it shows you right in there what kind of a market you're in. rsrlinks.com/market report, and you can see right there what we're looking at. In a more balanced or neutral market, homes tend to stay on the market a little longer. Bidding wars are less common, and sellers may need to make more concessions, like price reductions or helping with closing costs. That shift gives today's buyers more opportunities and less competition than a year ago. Why are things changing? Inventory plays a big role. When there are more homes for sale, buyers have more options, and that cools down home price growth. As data from Realtor.com shows, the supply of available homes for sale isn't growing at the same rate everywhere. Another graph showing where housing inventory is growing the fastest. And you can see, well, let's year over year, it's growing the fastest in the West. Graph shows how inventory has changed compared to last year. That's the blue bars. And compared to 2017 to 2019, the red bars in different regions of the country. The South and West of the U.S. have seen big jumps in housing inventory in the past year. That's the blue on the right. Both are almost back to the pre-pandemic levels. That's why more buyers markets are popping up there. But in the Northeast and Midwest, inventory is still very low compared to pre-pandemic. That's why those red bars are so big. That means those areas are more likely to stay sellers markets for now. What this means for you? Every local market is different. Even if the national headlines say one thing, your town or even your neighborhood could be telling a totally different story. Knowing which type of market you're in helps you make smarter decisions for your move. That's why working with a local real estate agent is so important right now. As Zillow says, agents are experts on their local markets and can craft buying or selling strategies tailored to the local market conditions, unquote. Agents understand the unique trends in your area and can help you make the best choices, whether you're buying or selling with their expert strategies. You can move no matter which way the market is leaning because they know how to navigate various levels of buyer competition, how to find hidden gems locally, how to price a house right, how to negotiate based on who has more leverage and more. Bottom line, if you're ready to move or even just thinking about it, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That way you'll have someone to help understand the local market and create a game plan that works for you. What's one thing you're curious about when it comes to the market in your area? That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Borrow Smart segment Borrow Smart segment brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com. GetHomeSelect.com. You don't need 20% down. Here's what most buyers are actually doing. You've turned into Ron Siegel. You're turned into Ron Siegel Radio, where we separate fact from fiction in the world of real estate, finance, and smart home ownership. Today's myth: you need 20% down to buy a home. Let's knock that one out right now. Here's the truth. You do not need 20% down to buy a home. In fact, according to the National Association of Realtors, 44% of buyers last year put down less than 20%, and many put down as little as 3%, and they still got the keys. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking you're not ready until you've saved up tens of thousands of dollars, I've got news for you. You're probably closer than you think. The tools to help you buy smarter, let's equip you with some real resources that make this easier. We have the annual Home Buyer's Guide. This is our flagship guide for 2025, full of strategies, insights, and market know-how to help you plan your next move. rsrlinks.com/HBG2025. rsrlinks.com/HBG2025. The quarterly update. Stay current with the latest changes in the local inventory and buyer tips. rsrlinks.com/HBG. rsrlinks.com/HBG. We created both of these to help you cut through the confusion and act with clarity. Still renting? Let's compare. We also did an entire show segment on the renting versus owning debate. You can see that rsrlinks.com/RVO. rsrlinks.com/RVO. We break down the long-term cost difference, tax advantages of home ownership, why rents keep rising, and how a mortgage can lock in predictability. Spoiler alert, ownership often wins big, especially when done with a smart financing strategy. And yes, we have our new 5-step certified home buyer program. For buyers who want to compete and win in today's market, we built something powerful. The 5-step certified home buyer program. Let's break it down. Step 1, the certified buyer consultation. What we do: understand your goals, provide personalized loan options, and set financial expectations. What you do: complete your loan application and submit required documents. What you get: a custom loan plan tailored to you, clear payment breakdowns and loan types, exact steps to get approved fast. Step 2, certified buyer approval. What do? Review your approval details and receive your certified buyer pass. What we do: deliver a custom presentation walking you through your numbers, provide a pre-approval PDF for agents and sellers, issue a certified buyer pass stored in your Apple Wallet. What this means: you're now fully ready to start shopping like a serious buyer. Step 3, certified buyer pass. What you do: tour homes and show your certified buyer pass at open houses or private showings. What we do: ensure your pass is active and linked to your approval. Embed a short video from me that listing agents can view. What this means: you're seen as a confident, qualified, and trusted buyer. Agents take you seriously. Step 4, certified buyer offer. Again, what you do is collaborate with your agent and me to build the strongest offer possible. What we do: generate a property-specific digital offer, record a personalized lender video for the seller, include updated approval letters and contact information. What this means: your offer doesn't just look strong, it proves it. And step 5, monitors your home value monthly post-close. What we do: automatically track your home's value, provide alerts if equity or refinance opportunity arises. What this means: you stay in control of your investment after the closing table. Where do you stand? Not sure if this is the right time for you to act? Let's make it simple. Try our 30-second liability checkup at rsrlinks.com/Sora. rsrlinks.com/Sora. It's a soft pull, no damage to your credit score, and gives you a clear snapshot of your readiness to buy. We look at your entire liability picture, not just your income, so we can design a strategy that helps you build wealth, not just qualify for a loan. So let's bring it home. You don't need 20% down. You do need a clear plan and we've got a proven one ready for you. I am Ron Siegel, a Certified Liability Advisor. I help families build wealth through strategic debt management, and that starts with smart, confident home buying. That is the Borrow Smart segment, brought to you by GetHomeselect.com, GetHomeselect.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, get ahead before the rush, improve your credit now before rates drop, and 10 marriage and money, 10 tips to keep love from losing to liabilities. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. rsrlinks.com/debt-free. Get ahead before the rush. Improve your credit now before rates drop. Ron Siegel here, your trusted resource for home ownership, financial strategy, and personal empowerment. I'm Ron Siegel. Today's show could easily be one of the most valuable segments you'll hear this year. Let's talk about timing. Specifically, why now is the best time to work on your credit, even if you're months away from buying a home. Here's the truth. We're likely heading toward lower interest rates. And while that sounds like a win, it comes with a catch: higher competition. When rates drop, buyers flood the market, home prices spike, inventory tightens, and the people with great credit, they get the best terms and the first pick of the lot. So what should you be doing now? Here's the playbook. Number 1, when rates go down, demand goes up. Simple economics. Lower rates mean lower monthly payments, which means more buyers can afford to jump in. That's great if you're ready, but if you're not credit ready, you might get boxed out. Worse, you could get stuck with higher fees or a rejected application. Number 2, credit score equals buying power. Let me make this real. A $300,000 mortgage at 6.5% versus 6%, that 0.5% saves you $30,000 in interest over the life of the loan. And that what determines your rate? Your credit score, amongst other things. Not sure how to optimize your credit card payments for FICO scoring purposes? We got you covered. Visit rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com, to learn the exact method to pay your credit cards that can improve your credit faster and more effectively. You don't need to pay more, you need to pay smarter. Lenders get choosy in hot markets. When everyone wants in, lenders raise the bar. That means if your credit score is lagging even just a little, you might face higher rates, stricter terms, or flat out denial. Improving your credit now gets you in the door before the lines form. Number 4, credit takes time to improve. Let's be honest, credit repair doesn't happen overnight. Paying down balances, correcting report errors, making consistent payments. These take time to reflect, but here's the good news. Starting now gives you options. Waiting limits them. Quick tip: keep balances below 30% of your limits. Set up automatic payments Pull your reports from all three bureaus, rsrlinks.com/FICO. rsrlinks.com/FICO will give you your real FICO scores. Avoid new credit lines unless essential. Number 5, home prices will likely climb as rates fall. If you wait until rates drop to start prepping, you could be priced out before you get pre-approved. When demand goes up, sellers raise prices. The earlier you get qualified with solid credit, the better chance you have to lock in a home before values jump. Number 6, a strong score equals more financial tools. We're not just talking about mortgages. With strong credit, you unlock better HELOC terms, refinance flexibility, and financing options for renovations or unexpected expenses. Speaking of flexibility, if you're carrying high interest debt and wondering if now is the time to act, check out our 2-step debt strategy. We're helping families use debt consolidation loan today, and if rates improve in 6 to 12 months, as we forecast, we restructure again. Learn more, rsrlinks.com/2step. rsrlinks.com/2step. Number 7, confidence in a competitive market. There's real peace of mind knowing your finances are dialed in. No scrambling, no last-minute regrets. When the right house hits the market, you'll be ready to pounce, not left in the dust. Look, waiting until rates drop is like showing up to a playoff game in the third quarter and expecting front row seats. That's not how winning works. Here's your play. Visit rsrccpayment.com for our credit card payment strategy. Take our 30-second liability checkup, rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora to see if you're optimized. And if you've got equity and high interest debt, explore our 2-step strategy, rsrlinks.com/2step. You don't need to do it all yourself. We've got the tools, referrals, and strategies to help you position your family to win. As always, I am a certified liability advisor helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. I'm Ron Siegel. This is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. The best opportunities to go to those who prepare in advance. That is, again, Your Credit Matters brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. We have time to give you our Borrow Smart segment brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. Marriage and money. 10 tips to keep love from losing to liabilities. Ron Siegel Radio. Ron Siegel here today talking to newlyweds or those soon to be about one of the most common but overlooked causes of conflict in marriage: money. Here's a stat worth knowing. 35% of couples say that financial stress is a major source of tension in their relationship. That shouldn't be a surprise. When two people blend not just their lives, but their liabilities, old habits, goals, and expectations can clash fast. But the good news, money doesn't have to be a wedge. With some intention and communication, it can actually become a bond, something that strengthens your partnership. Let's get into 10 financial tips that help newlyweds build not just a life together, but a smart, secure financial life. Number 1, start with communication. Talk about your financial backstories. One of you may be a saver, the other a spender. One may have grown up around scarcity, the other around abundance. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about understanding where each of you is coming from. Number 2, set shared goals. Whether it's buying your first home, crushing debt, or funding an epic anniversary trip, having clear mutual goals creates alignment. You're now playing on the same team. Number 3, create a budget together. Budgeting isn't a punishment. It's a strategy. It's about assigning every dollar a job to your priorities, not your impulses. Run the show. And when you build that budget as a team, you both take ownership of the outcome. Number 4, lay your financial foundation. Take a look at your current financial picture. What do you own? What do you owe? And how much is sitting in your emergency fund? Step 1 in building wealth is knowing your baseline and eliminating toxic debt while establishing buffers. Number 5, share the decisions. Sure, one of you may be numbers oriented, but both should be in the loop. When both partners are engaged in money decisions, there's less blame, more teamwork, and stronger accountability. Number 6, Agree on a spending limit. Define a dollar amount, maybe $300 or $500, that requires joint approval. This helps avoid financial surprises and keeps large expenses in check without micromanaging each other. Number 7, schedule money meetings. Once or twice a month, sit down together, talk about bills, budgeting, and upcoming expenses. These can be quick check-ins, but they build consistency and keep your financial vision front and center. Number 8, update legal documents. If you recently tied the knot, don't forget to update beneficiaries on accounts, review your insurance, and yes, create or revise your will. It's not the most romantic conversation, but it's a crucial one, and we've got individuals that can help you with any of those things. Number 9, embrace love, trust, and honesty. If you make a financial mistake, own it. Be honest about purchases and discuss disagreements respectfully. Trust with money is like trust in any area. It's built moment by moment. Number 10, seek professional help. Even if things are going well, bring in a third party like a financial professional or yet a certified liability advisor can bring clarity, tools, and insight you might not get on your own. Now, if any of this sounds overwhelming, don't worry. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. If you'd like help creating your first married couple's budget or reviewing how your finances stack up together, we offer budgeting strategy sessions tailored just for couples. Schedule yours today, bookrs15.com, bookrs15.com. And if credit card debt or low credit scores are on your radar, check out our free walkthrough of how to pay your bills most effectively for FICO scoring purposes. That's at rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Final word, marriage is a partnership, and like any successful team, it works best when both players are informed, involved, and invested. Money will be part of every chapter you write together, so make sure it's building your story, not breaking it. I am Ron Siegel, your Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. This is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button. Come back and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.